I thought it would be funny, or maybe clever, or at least relatable. It wasn't. It started like most days did, early, undercaffeinated, and already 2 tabs deep into things I probably shouldn't have been reading at work. A few colleagues were gathering near the end of the pod for a casual stand-up. I wasn't involved. Not officially. I was just there, embedded in the open plan ecosystem, part of the furniture that occasionally mumbled something in a group meeting. I had one ear on the words resource mapping and delivery constraints, but most of my attention was somewhere else entirely. I was on Reddit. The thread title, worst voiceover channel I've ever seen, Dying Oceans or something. 8 comments, 3 users, a total of 12 upvotes. It was, unmistakably, about me. And it was brutal. There's a confidence in his tone that absolutely isn't backed up by what's being said. Every one of his monologues sounds like he's building to a TED talk that got cancelled. It's like watching someone take a bow before delivering the punchline. I laughed. Out loud. Mid-scroll. Unfortunately, it landed perfectly in the silence between updates in the stand-up. One of them, the guy with the rectangular glasses, turned. Something funny? I could have waved it off. I could have said, it's just a meme. But I didn't. No, it's feedback about me. My YouTube channel. That caught them. Slight pause. Genuine confusion. People are discussing it on Reddit. Some of these are actually really well written comments. I spun the laptop slightly. They drifted over. This is what it sounds like when someone builds a shrine to their own grudges. It's like he's trying to hypnotize you into caring about these old workplace grudges and failing. This is basically self-pity in 4K. This isn't introspection. It's revenge disguised as reflection. His voice is like ASMR for people who think they're better than their co-workers. He sounds like a guy who lost every argument in real time, but wins them all in post-production. His emotional range is impressive if you like watching one man repackage the same grudge 40 different ways. They read in silence. No laughter, no reaction, just professional blankness. Someone cleared their throat. Anyway, scope projections and oversized creep. They turned back to their meeting. Not in a huff, not even awkwardly, just neutrally. Like I'd momentarily glitched and they were politely pretending it hadn't happened. The meeting broke apart politely. No eye contact, no follow-up. I sat for a few minutes pretending to read a Teams message until the buzz of conversation died down and they returned to their screens. Then I stood up, walked to the supply cabinet. 10 minutes later, I was restocking the printer with A4 paper. The packet stuck halfway in. And then I remembered. He doesn't tell stories. He files grievances with narrative structure. That one stung more in the quiet. In the kitchen, I stirred a peppermint tea bag in silence. Someone had left a mug near the sink that said, "Grammar is free, use it." And that also reminded me. You know that guy who always had to get the last word in English class? He found a mic. At my desk, I opened up a spreadsheet titled Resource Matrix version 3.2. It stared back, and even more comments came flooding back to my memory. The only thing louder than his voice is the sound of unresolved tension. This is what it sounds like when you lose the argument, but win the narration rights. This is what happens when someone never got closure and decided to monologue their way into getting it. Someone walked past my desk and said, "All staff alignment, 3 p.m, level 6. I nodded, pretended I heard it the first time. Even more comments came flooding back. He's not telling stories, he's repackaging character flaws as content. It's the cadence, the pacing. It's like he practiced being profound in the mirror and then forgot what point he was making. There's a moment in every video where you can feel him congratulating himself for the metaphor he's about to drop. And you can just tell he spent more time on this metaphor than the moment. In the lift, heading down, metal walls, bad lighting. I caught my own reflection, and it came back into my memory. If smugness had a nervous breakdown and tried to pivot to vulnerability, this would be it. That night, everything felt quieter than usual. The tram ride home was silent. No music, no podcast. Just the sound of people pretending not to look at each other. I kept my eyes on the window, even in the tunnel. I keep replaying the meeting, not the comments, not the quotes, just the moment after. How they said nothing, how they didn't challenge it, how they just moved on, coldly, politely, like what I'd shared hadn't been inappropriate or cringe, but worse, beneath their concern. At home, I didn't turn the lights on straight away. I sat at the kitchen bench in the dark with my laptop open, screen on minimum brightness. I opened the thread again, just to check. 13 comments now. No replies to mine. I didn't read them properly. Not this time. Just skimmed. Absorbed tone, structure, familiar rhythms. One or two I recognized. Phrases that replayed all afternoon like background apps I couldn't close. A few others I hadn't seen before. They weren't different, just colder, tighter. The kind of lines people write after the first draft. The ones that land harder because they've stopped trying to be clever. This is not content. This is a revenge letter to people who never read his blog. I think he thinks he's doing a character study. What he's actually doing is trauma karaoke. It's not storytelling. It's a man live tweeting a therapy session he never booked. Feels like he keeps a folder of imaginary enemies just so he has the motivation to write. This is the kind of content you make when you've been thinking about a cutting comeback for 4 years and still haven't found a social life to say it in. He speaks like a man who's just realized no one's coming to the apology he rehearsed. Every sentence sounds like a closing line he's been waiting to use for 5 years. He speaks like he's been waiting years to be misunderstood in exactly the right way. It's like he's narrating a eulogy of a version of himself no one else remembers. You can just tell he thought this would be haunting, but it's just sweaty. I don't know who this is for, but it's definitely about him. I can't tell if he's being deep or just weaponizing a midlife crisis. I deleted the comment I'd left under my own video. The one that said, "If you're here from Reddit, I get it." Not because I was worried someone else would read it and realize I'd seen the thread, but because I knew no one would ever read either of them. Thanks for sticking around. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Your support helps me create more content just like this. And if you're in the mood for more, check out these videos coming up right here.